Hello, Seiiti Arata. This is a special video about the biggest mistake poor people make. This is a mistake that could be avoided in order to bring financial prosperity and financial enrichment. Let's just make a clarification before we proceed. This is not a video about poverty in the sense of a hardship. This is not the type of poverty we're talking about here. We're talking about a mistake made by those who are poor in spirit, poor in vision. People who have a poor mentality, those who are earning very well, but even so, they are poor. They're poor because they don't know the value of money. They don't know how to use money with wisdom. They don't know how to multiply money. Here in our chat, when we speak about poor people, we're talking about people who could have a prosperous condition if they didn't make the mistake that you're going to learn about here. The biggest mistake made by poor people is not to master the psychology of money. When I provide financial enrichment training, one of the first concepts that I present is the psychology of money. It doesn't mean that a little note of money is going to sit on the psychologist's couch, not anything like that. Psychology of money is the improvement of the mentality that you use when you're dealing with money. This is the review and improvement of your financial choices, of your investments, of your savings. Money psychology is what describes your ability to build or to destroy your financial assets. And you can change your money psychology by changing the beliefs, the associations, and the feelings you have in regards to money. Raise the level of importance that money has in your strategic plan. Strategic plan, yeah, because there are some people who basically plan absolutely nothing, that have no strategy at all, everything's random. There are those who seem to pretend that money does not exist. They just close their eyes and, they don't like the subject of money. They are embarrassed to be asking for prices. They wish to be appearing rich. They put things in the shopping trolley without taking a look at the cost. The restaurant bill arrives and they don't even check if everything's correct. These are people who participate in activities without even calculating how much the price will be, and then later they just get their credit card and say, okay, let's do it. They commit themselves first, and they only think about how to pay it afterwards. There isn't a certain admiration about the idea of not caring about money. It seems that money is like a dirty subject. It's a little bit embarrassing to be asking for discounts and researching for prices before committing. Living life like this is an irresponsibility. Not giving money its due importance is like living in a world of make-believe. Take a look at something obvious here. Money is a tool that we use for the function of society. This is how commerce can happen. This is how people can work. They can exchange value, services, and products. Because of this, sooner or later, you will need money. And closing your eyes won't change reality. It won't make money to disappear. Closing your eyes will only disadvantage you by not seeing what's happening. Pretending that money does not exist or pretending that money is not important will only make you vulnerable and unprepared to deal with your finances. It is because of this that today you see some desperate people looking for loans, begging for a job, living off of favors, worried about the future. They don't dedicate enough focus in becoming financially literate, financially mature. In this way, they work for money instead of allowing money to work for them. You need a new strategy to deal with a new reality. Reality has changed. It is giving us 3 slaps in the face. This is what I call the 3 slaps of reality. We all have to dodge it or block it so we don't get hit on the face. So what are these 3 reality slaps? Your degree is worthless. Your family are retarded and you're not going to reach retirement. Calm down. I will explain each one of these 3 slaps of reality. Reality has changed. Your degree is worth less. These days, a university degree doesn't guarantee a better quality in your financial life. Our generation has a superior academic level to any other previous generation. Almost everybody you know has a university degree, but in the old days it wasn't like that. Today the differentiation of having a university degree is almost never worth the cost of opportunity. The years that you invested to get that degree. You invested time, you invested money going to university, but the salary you receive at the end, on average, is nowhere near high enough to compensate for this investment. Companies are even complaining these days that the content taught at university is irrelevant, is outdated, is inadequate for the company needs. So you need to specialize, which will cost even more time, more money. Without having a financial enrichment plan, people get themselves into debt to finance the studies, and they lose years and years of study, and then when they finally leave the cocoon, they are not able to get back their investment. Notice the word investment. It is necessary to change your mentality and stop thinking just like a naive student and think like an investor, a professional investor who wants low risk and high return. Reality has changed. Your family is retarded. And I'm not talking in the vulgar meaning of the word retarded. I'm talking of retarded in the original sense. Retarded and is delayed. It's a Latin word. Retardare, very delayed. The family is retarded. And they're getting married later. They're having children later. In many cases, the couple postpones so much. They put off, they delay the decision to have children, so when they finally want, the biological clock no longer allows it. How many couples don't you know who have left it for later, and then it was too late? They were not able to have children now. They have a puppy, a kitty, some house pet to make up for it. Please do not criticize those people. Don't judge those people because they were delaying. They were postponing, and not because they were selfish. It's because they were responsible, because it was a financial decision. They know that they wouldn't have financial conditions to bring up children in this world because they are not even able to pay their own bills. These are couples living with their parents-in-law, because they can't even get their own place. They missed out on reaching their financial freedom earlier. Reality has changed. You are not going to reach retirement. This one is not like a slap in the face. This one is Thanos giving me a punch in the stomach with the Infinity Gauntlet. In the whole world, pension plans are failing. The government wants you to contribute for longer and receive less. The reason is that the retirement calculation back in the day was developed in an age of lower life expectancy. But the problem is that now we're living longer than expected. And with the advances in applied technology and medicine, we're going to be living much longer. And the public pension doesn't have enough money for everybody. And the same thing happens with the pension funds that are crashing because of many factors of economic problems, because of the longevity of people, or just because of pure incompetency or managerial fraud. The problem worsens still because the aging population, combined with the exponential use of the automation and robots and technology systems, this is all combining into a big crash in the amount of people who are contributing and a huge increase in the people who want to receive. Today, there are around 10 people working in an active age. They're working, they're contributing for every one elderly retired person who's retired, who's receiving. In 2030, the proportion will be 5 workers for every one retired person. By 2050, it's going to be 3 to 1. 2060, it's going to be 2 people working for each retired person. Do you really believe that this system is going to work? This is a gigantic problem. And people are just not paying attention to it because they are not paying attention to the psychology of money. They just close their eyes. They think everything's going to be okay. They're going to sort out the problems. They don't want to be worried about money, about their future. And this is why you have to create your own plan with a portfolio of good investments, with low taxes, with low fees, with high returns, with low risk. The biggest mistake poor people make is not doing what needs to be done to have absolute control of the psychology of money. In pretending that they don't care about money, not making a strategic financial plan, and not raising their levels of financial literacy, what happens? They end up suffering. Take a look at the paradox. The person doesn't worry about money and ends up being the one who has to later deal with future problems. They didn't preoccupy, so now they occupy themselves to face all those problems. Money is a great employee and is a terrible boss. Money is a great employee that will do what you want it to, and it's a terrible boss if you have to submit to it. Of course, you don't want to be a tightwad, a penny pincher, a psychopath that only thinks of money. On the same time, you don't want to be somebody who is silly, irresponsible, just not paying attention to their own money. The apparently admirable attitude and never thinking about money is an acid that will corrode your future. People that don't understand this, they are the ones who will later trade their health for money. They'll trade their family time for money. They'll trade their personal time for money. Unfortunately, in some cases, even their honesty, character, honor for money. They are losing their own integrity for money in the future precisely because they did not attribute the importance to money now. For this, I leave you with an important invite so you don't become this person. You can visit the link arata.se/money taboo so you can do what needs to be done now.